morning. Good morning. Wow, episode 75. Lekker. I see the hair is not giving its full cooperation this morning. Oh well, that's lockdown hair for you. And a friend of mine said yesterday he will wait until his own hairdresser can cut his hair. He's not going to do any weird and wonderful black market kind of hair cutting or let his wife near his hair. So, but it's time again. Anyway, good morning. Very nice to have you with me this morning. Thank you very much. I see everybody saying hi this morning on YouTube before the time. Obviously on LinkedIn, you can't until we actually go live. So very, very happy that, everybody's starting to say hello in YouTube before the time and all that good stuff. Really nice community that we've got going. And so obviously a number of announcements, but today I'm going to be talking about financial advisor marketing, and not so much financial advisor marketing as is, like in detail and getting into every little thing that we can do. I really sat down and took 5 things that I think if we do them consistently, we do them well, that they will go a long way. So I'm not going to be talking about social media, and I'm not going to be talking about podcasting and all that wonderful stuff. We have touched on those topics here before, and although they are extremely good and they are working for me personally, I think let's focus on some other things that maybe you're doing, maybe you're not doing them consistently. If you are, then well done. You don't have to do all 5 of these. You only need to do some of them. You can only choose one if that is what you're comfortable with, and master that and get really good with that, and then just do it consistently. I saw this morning Michelle Hoskin posted, she posted about a week ago. It only came onto my feed today, but on LinkedIn, where she quoted a, and there goes my light. She quoted a quote from obviously Winston Churchill, where he said that consistency is what makes you great, not intelligence or strength. And I'm doing it this a bit verbatim, but that is basically what it said. So consistency, it's like, in my mind, it's like the sea just crushing every single day across the rocks or against the rocks, and it keeps on doing it. And over time, it just cuts through that. It's the wind in the mountains that keep blowing. And at some stage, it just blows a hole right through, or a crevice, or I don't know what you call those things, But anyway, so you get my drift most probably. Just want to see if I can, there you go. If I can save the light. There we go. Okay, awesome. So good morning, everybody. Thank you very much for being with me. I know I say it a lot, but it's because I'm so appreciative. Financial advisor marketing. All right, this light does not want to work, so don't worry about that. Good morning, Kobus. Very nice to have you with me this morning. This is 75 out of 75 for you, Terence. You're probably also 75 out of 75, although you haven't been able to do all the live shows, but I know you definitely watched the recording, so thank you very much. Stephen, good morning, Stephen. Thanks for all the messages and the things that you send me and all your support. I really appreciate it. Denise, thank you very much. It's great. Chomotso, good morning, Chomotso. Everybody's here. Malcolm, Tinas, got Casper and Kevin. Everybody that's become regular. So thank you very much, Arun, for you as well. Great stuff. Hugo Blom, more. Goeiemorgen, Hugo, welcome. Neil Phillips, good morning. Also a huge supporter of the show. Thank you very much for that, Neil. You've also been communicating with me a lot, so really appreciate that. And then Chart van der Walt, closing out the list here. Good morning, Chart. Hoop het gaan goed daar in Pretoria. En laat het goed gaan. And here I've got George sneaking in. George Mkanzi. Good morning, George. Thank you very much. I think it's the first time I've seen you here, or maybe it's the first time you've said hi. So obviously I need to make an announcement about what's going to happen to this show from next week onwards. And it's been a hard decision for me. But if I really look at it from a business perspective, and I look at it from a time perspective, and I look at it from just all the things that's in the pipeline and things that I need to get done, the wise decision would be to go ahead with the 2 days a week schedule from next week onwards. And that is what I'm going to do. So from next week, it's only going to be Tuesdays and Fridays. The thinking here is that we want to do Tuesdays at 8 a.m. and then Fridays at 3 p.m. To close out the week. So you can let me know in the chat what you think about it. We don't have a big audience this morning if I look at the numbers, but that doesn't matter. So if you can let me know what you think about a 3 p.m. on a Friday. The idea is that when we have guests that we'll have them on a Friday in the afternoon. I think it'll be great. Sometimes I may put them on a Tuesday if it makes more sense to do that. But be that as it may, when we have great guests with great stories and those kind of things, we will definitely do it like that. And so I think that's what's going to happen from next week. So let me know what you think, and we can take it from there. I'm really appreciative of everything that we've managed to accomplish. This is episode 75. I really wanted to go to episode 100, going live every single day, because that would take me another month to get there if we do it every single day, Monday to Saturday. And if we're going to do it this way, it's going to take us 3 months to get to 100. But that's fine. I need to make the right decision for the things that I need to get done. And I'm very worried that I'm not going to get to everything that I need to get to. So that's actually my main reason for scaling it down at this point in time. So thank you very much. As I said, really, really appreciate it. Jaden says he likes the format for a Tuesday and a Friday. I know Kobus yesterday said as well that he likes the Tuesday and the Friday. So that's good stuff. Alrighty. So let's then get into you. Welcome to in the chat, because I know sometimes the video is delayed. You're welcome to still type it in. I'm going to start with this morning's session. So I want to talk about financial advisor marketing, as I said. And guys, please, if you, everybody here, I don't know if you are subscribed, but if you are not, or you're watching the recording, please remember to subscribe and connect with me on LinkedIn. That'll be great if you can do that. I really appreciate that. And I must say my LinkedIn network has been growing consistently, slowly and consistently, which I like. And so thank you very much for reaching out. And then also for subscribing. We're on 463. The next sort of goal is 500. So really trying to get there. If you can help me with that, that'll be fantastic. If you get value from the show. If not, then please don't subscribe, because otherwise you're going to get notifications from something that you don't get value from, and that's okay. That's good stuff. But if you do, please consider subscribing to this. All right. So let's get into this. And I think before we start, there are some things that we just need to think about before we really get into financial advisor marketing, or just marketing yourself or marketing your business. And you remember the slides that I showed in a number of episodes where we say, well, any business, there must be value creation, then there needs to be marketing, then there needs to be sales, then there needs to be value delivery, and then finally there needs to be financial management. And marketing is so important, because marketing is all about letting people know that you exist in the first place. And, from that point of view, and I think a lot of people are confusing marketing and sales. Marketing leads to sales, but marketing is a completely different focus. It's a completely different activity than sales. Okay, sales is really getting somebody who is ready to buy to actually then buy at the end of the day, because sometimes people get ready to purchase or to do business with you, but they don't take that first step to enter into that process. So that's where sales come in. Marketing is a lot more about serving. It's a lot more about creating awareness. It's a lot more about teaching people about what it is that you do, and sort of things that they can do in their lives, before you get to that point. So you also want to attract people through marketing, the right people. That's very important. So before you can start, okay, some of the things that you need to consider is you've got to be clear on who you are. Who are you? Who's your business? What is your business all about? You've got to be very, very clear about that. And then what makes you unique? What are those differentiators that makes you unique? And then, it sounds easy to do that. I've been trying to hone in on that for quite some time. It's not so easy, because I think it's harder to talk about, although we love to talk about what we do and ourselves. If you really need to get down to it about what makes you unique, some people will just jot down a list, and then others will be sitting there thinking and just not get to an answer. So if that is the case and you don't know what makes you unique and what makes you stand out, reach out to your existing clients and ask them, you know what, why are you doing business with me? You know, if you hear my name, what do you think of first? Because those are the kind of things that you could put down and say, well, this is what makes me unique. I need to make sure that this comes through in my messaging. So that's very important. The second thing is that you must be crystal clear and really crystal clear on who it is that you want to attract, the kind of clients that you want to attract, whether they are business owners or, you know, it's easy. That we know. We want to work with business owners. Okay. But which industry? What kind of people do they need to be? All that stuff. And we've spoken about all of the things. So many of the things that I'm going to touch on here, we've had episodes on that in the show already, which you can go to for more information about these specific aspects. So I just want to sort of bring it all together and say, well, are you clear on who you want to attract? So my daughter is starting her business called Skin Studio. And, you know, like when they say, well, the beauticians and the hairdressers and everybody can now start working, she's going to do that. And so she's a stomatologist. And, you know, we were talking about this, and I said to her, you need to, like, when you do your marketing, you've got to know exactly the kind of person that you would like to work with. You've got to be clear. And she's very clear on, like, these are the people that I can help. So that's great. That's just like us saying, well, I like working with, let's say, engineers, or like, nobody does. Oh, do you? I don't know. Anyway, but let's say you love working with engineers, or you like working with doctors, or whatever. Not all of those engineers and all of those doctors will be great to work with. Some of them are a real pain. Some of them are really not into what it is that we do. Some of them never will see the value. Some of them believe that they can do it themselves and they want to do it themselves. So we shouldn't be wasting our time talking to them or getting into a debate about if you give this advice and then they go. So you don't even talk to those guys. So you've got to have a very clear person that you are speaking to so that you attract that person. And you can have multiple ones, like she wants to work with very specific age groups and very specific problems that they've got. But you need a persona for each one of them to say, well, this is Sarah, and Sarah is like this old, and this is her problem, and this is what she's done all these things, and that hasn't worked. So you've got to be very, very clear on who you want to work with. Maybe the other person is, they now, let's say 45 years old, and now suddenly, you know, there's some wrinkles and things that they're like, where did that come from? And they've got other issues and things that they, you know, it becomes important for those people. And maybe, you know, there's the people in the middle where maybe there's not much value that one could add to them, or they are very difficult to work with. For example, I'm just like rumbling off now. But it's the same in our world. You know, you should be looking at the kind of people that you want to work with. You know, who are they? What are their problems? How do you solve those problems? Because if you know that, you can tell stories around it. And that's what marketing is really about. It's about sharing those stories. So you have to be very, very clear. We've spoken about your ideal clients and target clients and all that, those kind of stuff in the show. So you can just go back and look for those episodes. And then the third thing is that you need to set very specific goals and objectives, because how are you going to know whether this marketing campaign or this marketing, the activities and the efforts that you're putting in is really yielding the right results? Okay, so if you know sort of, you know, who you want to attract, you can see, well, am I attracting these kind of people, or am I getting the wrong people into my world? And then you know, well, my messaging isn't correct. It's not that I shouldn't be working with engineers. It's just like, something in my messaging is attracting the wrong people. And then you need to go look for that, and then you can work on it. So if we don't have clear set goals and objectives, it's going to be very, very hard in order to see whether you are being successful. All right. So that's even before you start. And we've spoken about this. And I honestly hope that, you know, during this lockdown, you took the time to really work on your business as well. I know it's been crazy, you know, with clients phoning and complaining and wanting to withdraw their investments and being retrenched and all that stuff. So I can only imagine the kind of stress and things that you are going through and that you went through during this time. But I do hope that you made some time to work on this. And if not, you've got to make that time as soon as possible, because that makes a big difference. I did it a week ago again, sat down and said, well, there's clarity. So there's still a few things that needs to be implemented. And those are the things that I'm not getting to at the moment, simply because I'm doing a lot of stuff. So I'm trying to filter down so that I can focus on the most important things. And I strongly encourage you to do the same. All right, so let's start with the first one. And that for me is that start with your existing clients. I mean, if they already love you, they've been doing business with you, then why do you want to just jump out and go find new clients? Which is definitely, it's important. And it will also depend on where you are in your journey. If you're a new financial advisor, then you go, Francois, what existing clients? So it's a completely different conversation. So this one may not work for you right now, but definitely something that you can keep in mind when you start getting clients or when you significantly grow your practice and the focus starts moving from acquiring new clients to just maintaining or maybe looking after existing relationships and just growing slowly via referrals and that kind of stuff. But yeah, start with your existing clients, and it's very simple, the things that we can do. And I've spoken about some of these things in the show as well. So first one for me is when they have birthdays, call them. Try and call all of them. Even if I don't know. I believe you should be calling all of them because you'll stand out like you won't believe. But there's also other ways and means of doing this. You can obviously send them e-cards. So send them just a little, maybe you made up something special and you send it to them, via WhatsApp or email or anything like that. There are many services that actually offer you that as well. You can send them a real birthday card, which I guess if they still got a post box, then that will be unique. Maybe you can have it delivered to their home. I don't know. So those are kind of things that you can do. But then also what you can do is create like entertaining videos. One of my friends are doing that, so it's quite entertaining to see this stuff. He's used everybody from himself to the dog to be in those videos, and they're quite funny. So, and it's easy to create those things. It's really just taking a photo of you and the photo of your dog and then sticking it into that app, and they create the video for you, and it's a happy birthday song and this and this and that. And it's entertaining and it makes you smile and all of it. But still, the phone call is the thing that will stand out the most. And so really consider doing that. And then also the other thing, it's sometimes difficult to stay up to date, I know, with some clients. So, the weird and wonderful stuff I try and stay away from. But the two things that I do focus on are birthdays and then special achievements or special events in the sense of, it's more like a child going to school for the first time, or a child finishing matric, a child going to university, finishing university, going to high school. Those milestone events, those are really the important things. And I know I spoke about this before as well, but maybe you missed that episode. I was looking at episode 1 yesterday and I was thinking, gee whiz, that was bad. I was like low energy and not like, don't want to seem too over the top, and yeah. But I think as I watched those over the episodes, I realized like you need some more energy. But anyway, so special achievements is definitely very important, and the same thing would apply where you can send cards or you can send messages or voice notes or videos. But I think for special events, a phone call is even more important to show that you genuinely care. And you can even send a gift or anything like that, because all of these things are marketing related. It strengthens the relationship. It keeps you top of mind. It makes sure that people will remember you, and it shows. It just demonstrates that you're genuinely interested. It demonstrates how much you care. That's strong marketing. If there's have you ever thought about the people that you work with the best? Often if you go back and you think about, why is that? Yeah, they give me good service. Yes, they give me good advice. Yes, I trust them. But I think it ultimately boils down to they trust. They care for you. You feel like you matter. And I don't think there's any stronger marketing than that specifically. All right. So then the next one is email newsletters. And again, this isn't email marketing. There is a massive difference between doing newsletters and doing email marketing. There is a massive, massive difference. So yeah, I'm not going to talk about email marketing in today because email marketing is something on its own. I'm just looking at things that you can do to really stay top of mind, and also to let people, to empower them so that they can refer people to you on the one hand, and just keep on educating and sharing with people that are already doing business with you. Because when you do that, you open your opportunities to do more business with your existing clients. Now, I know that if you've been around for a long time, you obviously think that, there's nothing more that we can do. And I was sort of bouncing between, should I be talking about tax today and the opportunities from that, share 3 or 4 things from that, or do we talk about marketing? So there are many different ways of generating the whole point is that you want to have new conversations and you want to have new things to focus on and talk about, because unless you have that, clients is going to get to a point where they're going to say, well, Frans, I'm not going to meet with you anymore. So, those are things that we need to consider. But as far as email newsletters are concerned, they still work. They still work, definitely. And I know in this time, people got hurtful. I had several people unsubscribe from my newsletter, and I sent one newsletter every 2 weeks, maybe. And they're not really newsletters. I mean, they were more like, oh, we've got this guest on, we're going to have that guest on. So I didn't even do marketing, or I didn't even do any selling or anything like that. The only other thing that I promoted through my email was my refreshers. And there was a few people who unsubscribed, and that's cool, because I think people are inundated with these things. But if we do it right, and again, so email newsletter in my mind is more focused on an existing client. It is not focused on new clients, because they are being bombarded, because now everything happens online, everything happens virtually, and now it's just like people, just putting mail into your mailbox. It's crazy. But they do still work. If you do it correctly and you do it in a proper way, they still work, definitely. This is really about, so what can you do in these newsletters? You can let people know what's new in your business, what are changing, maybe some stories about clients that you've done wonderful things for. Somebody that I'm talking to at the moment, we're looking at how can you leverage some great stories that happened during this time, because there's some of his clients that things happened to, and they were able to claim, some weird and wonderful stories. People that work on all weird and wonderful sort of places, and then something goes wrong, and they actually have a claim. And to tell that story around what happened and what this did for them, and then also the support that they received from them during this time. I mean, these things are extremely, extremely powerful. And that's the kind of stories that you want to share in your newsletter. And you can do it via video or an article or a testimonial or however you want to do that. But that kind of stuff you can really send through in your newsletter. You can also tell them what is coming up, new things that will be implemented, or maybe you have an event or things like that. Then you can announce that in the newsletter. And as I said, this is aimed at existing clients. And the main thing for me about newsletters is that you stay top of mind. And I think what will make newsletters still very valid and definitely successful is that if you maybe don't do them once a week, but do them once a month. So you don't send them out weekly, don't send them out bi-weekly. Mine at the moment is very erratic. So it's when I have something to say, I send it out. But and it's just simply because I'm very consistent on places like LinkedIn and that. But in terms of my newsletters, there's a monthly like roundup summary kind of thing is what people will be looking for instead of in-depth stuff. And this is also where you can leverage your website very nicely, where you just give a summary and the details are on your website. So you want to send people to your website or to your LinkedIn or wherever that you're putting more information on this. Because you can create posts about these things on LinkedIn, get the link and then share that in your newsletter. So it's not to say that you must have a website, but it is definitely something where you can send people where they can enjoy themselves, without being interrupted. So yeah, so that for me is the main thing. It helps you to stay top of mind and educate, and it informs. So that is the power of an email newsletter, in my opinion. Then client events. Also, I think it was episode 24 and 25, if I remember correctly. I did a 2-part series on virtual client events of how you can do that. But client events can be either in person or it can be virtual, or a combination of them. I mean, imagine you have some form of a client event. And again, you've got different types of client events. You can have a client event aimed at marketing, and you can have a client event aimed at saying thank you. So an appreciation event. So those kind of things you can really mix up. But a client event is one of the most successful, the most effective ways of doing marketing. And you can have a mix of existing clients, and they can bring some other clients, or you can just market an event where you get people who you don't know to that event. So there's many different ways of going about hosting client events. And if you want to do a combination of virtual client events, then of virtual and in person, then maybe think about doing a short little webinar as an intro to what's coming, and introducing the speakers and just creating awareness around it, and then getting people to come to the event. And then you have the in-person event once we are able to do that. Otherwise, I see virtual summits has really been becoming obviously the main thing right now. Many different pieces of software that's available to make this awesome. And so definitely something that one could consider if you want to do it that way. Otherwise, a plain old, just like we've been using webinars up until now, you can definitely do that. So I think client events is really important and something that you should definitely consider. And there are many opportunities, for these things. I think one of the main things that you want to look at for an event, if there is an outcome that you want, and that outcome will lead to the attendees telling everybody that they were there and this is what happened and this was so amazing, is that these client events is not aimed at selling them anything. Often these client events, I will attend them and then it'll be an update on the markets. It will be an update on, oh, this product is fantastic. And then they've got these special guest speakers from this product provider and from that one. I think a client event, and those are necessary, nothing wrong with them. But if you want to have an event that really, really, really have an impact and that really drives, clients to come to you and also just, I think, bolsters your whole status and everything, it is... If you can enable a transformation, you either create one, you start one, or you enable one, okay, for the attendees. So there's something in their lives that they're probably struggling with. And obviously this whole theme will link to something that you have in mind that you want to market at the end of the day. But if at that event, I mean, imagine you have, someone there that talks about, like Douglas, for example, that they have, how you position yourself as an expert, that kind of theme. That can change someone's life dramatically. If you can just let the switch go on, maybe, if your focus is to work with divorced women, for example, or any divorced person for that matter, not just divorced women, but you have an event that really helps them work through that struggle, help them work through that. How powerful is that versus saying, oh, now you need to look at your own financial planning. Now you better need to get an RA. Now you better need to do this. You better need to do this. So those kind of things are really, really powerful. Offering things like, how to have a happy marriage, for example, do an event around that. Often we will look at things like, we want to talk about critical illness, and then we have some specialists there talking about all the stats and what's going on, and you have a medical doctor there that tells the stories of what they see and how it impacts people's lives. But at the end of the day, that's more, I think, maybe a sales event than it is a marketing event. So if you really want to change lives, it's maybe more about living healthy, and then what are the consequences of not living healthy. You can play those two against one another. So those are just some of the ideas that's popping into my mind right at this second. But hopefully you get my drift around that. And I think with these things, if you have client events, you have the opportunity to deeply and truly showcase your uniqueness. What makes you different? Because your event is different from all the other events that they see, or all the other marketing that they come across, or all the other webinars that they attend. This is unique. This is truly, truly different. I wanted to say something now about an event, but I'm not going to do that. Okay, so cool stuff. So those are client events. And then another thing, as far as marketing is concerned, I think you've got to make sure that you have a very strong profile. So when people start looking for you, or they want to research you, or they want to confirm who you are, you better have a very strong profile that they can find. And there's a number of ways that one could do this. So having a strong profile is part of marketing. It is marketing in itself. And simply if somebody does go and look for Francois du Toit, there's some LinkedIn profiles that's going to come up, and there are some videos that's going to pop up, and there's maybe an article here or a podcast there that will pop up. So there's something to say, well, this person is really who they say they are, but and I know a lot of people feel like, listen, I don't want to be found online or anything like that. I live a very private life. That's cool. It's your decision, but from a business perspective, so it doesn't mean that you're blurting out all your personal stuff online. This is just for business. But anyway, so obviously social media plays a very important role here. To build your profile. That is one of the powers of social media and social networking, is that you can build that profile because you can use that to position yourself as an expert. You can use that to lift your profile. You can do that to lift your status, if you do it correctly and properly. And I think one of the big things that you do want to do with a strong profile is if you can get into people's pockets. Okay, not to go flesh out their money and their wallets. That's not what I'm talking about. But if you can get into their pockets, and here I'm talking about something like Profile Me, where it sits on their device. It's literally in their pocket. It's something that they always have with them. It's something that will always be up to date. If you give somebody your business card, and number one, they're going to throw it away. Number two, when you move premises, or when suddenly, let's say like what happened now, just before lockdown, now you wanted to do, now you say, well, I can't meet, but I can meet. I can meet virtually, for example. I mean, how easy would it have been to just change your profile on their phone, in their pocket, with a link that says, schedule a meeting with me, an online meeting with me, or just a little video clip that says, listen, this is what we're doing during this time. Listen, here's 3 tips, 5 tips for what you can do to stay sane during lockdown. Imagine if you had that power, and it's just with like that. It is in all the clients that's got your details as pockets. So I think building that strong profile, and it also helps you with your brand. It helps you with your credibility. And it makes it easy. It makes it so easy for people to get hold of you and to know what's going on. And you could reach everybody with a flick of a button almost from that perspective. So, it just makes it easy. I think that is really something that I would suggest that you consider. And my tool of choice there is by far is Profile Me. So definitely something that I will sort of suggest that you check out as well. And then obviously your website goes with that. And it's not a question always for me. It's like, is it the one or is it the other? If you can do both, you should do both. If you can do both, if you believe in both. If you don't believe in both, then don't do both. If it's a matter of cost, then I would definitely go the Profile Me route before I do a website, because there's a lot of things that I can incorporate there without having a website. But having a website is extremely important, from a Google perspective or search engine perspective, from the fact that I can have much more content there. I can have it structured. It's unlimited what I can do on there. So then what I want to do is use something like Profile Me to drive people to my website, for example, or I drive them to my social media channels, or I drive them to engage with me. So that becomes the portal into your world. And that's so important. So a website, a professional website that's set up correctly, that has a very specific messaging, and it really works well. And you can measure that, well, when people go onto my website, they actually contact me, or how many of them do contact me. And you can it's part of your plan to have that. So a website is also very important, and it should be definitely on the list if you don't have one as yet. And then media, I think you should definitely try and get into the media more. Don't be afraid to do that. Write an article, send it to editors for them to consider publishing in their publication. So obviously, and here you need to think about, where are your clients? So let's say, for instance, you work with medical professionals. Sending your article to the FBI and FA News and Money Marketing and, maybe MoneyWeb, but all of those other publications is not really, because the audience there is financial professionals. It's not your target clients. So you need to then send that article. If you've written it for consumers, you need to get it onto a consumer platform. And if you wrote it for a very specific kind of consumer, for example, as I said, medical professionals, then send it to the medical publications for them to publish it, because that's valuable for the people that read their publications. That's where you want to go. So get into that media. And then obviously don't be afraid to try and get onto radio. If you want to start off, try community radio. So what radio station is a community radio station where you can start off to learn the ropes. Not so many people are going to hear you, but at least you can get comfortable doing that. And then obviously you can take it from there. But I think the first step into media is really to get in contact with people in the media and say, well, yeah, I've got this article, or here's a series of articles, or whatever. Would you consider publishing this? They're always looking for good and up-to-date content, but then your profile needs to also support that, to show that you are kosher and that you are proper, and that you have credibility and that you can be trusted. So obviously all these things work together. And the whole idea about a strong profile for me is that the whole purpose is to get known, to lift your status, to show your credibility, and for people to start to engage with you and form a relationship with you, and you with them. So that is really what that is about. And then volunteer to speak. This is also a big one. This isn't always for everybody, but it is so powerful. And it doesn't mean that you need to get up onto stage, at a big conference or something like LeaderX or anything like that. No, it's just like, start off with something like the FBI My Money 123. Volunteer for that. You can go do an hour and a half presentation. When they get people asking, you can arrange your own My Money 123 events as well. But you can ask them, and they will. When they know that you want to volunteer, they will let you know when there's an opportunity, and you can go and speak to the staff at that particular business, because it will usually be aimed at that, or a group of students, or a group of, whatever. There's many different sort of organizations that are looking for somebody to come and educate their people on financial literacy, etc. So, yeah, definitely consider that. And then also, start with your business clients. If you've got some business clients, why don't you contact them and ask them, listen, I would just come and just do a half an hour sort of talk to your employees. Let's say if they have a weekly meeting, maybe for half an hour or 10 minutes or 15 minutes, because the whole purpose is not so much about, because those are the clients that you want. Imagine the value it adds to that employer, and the opportunities that it opens up for you to do business with that employer at that level. So you come in, you educate, you help them with whatever it is that you want to do, and they benefit from it. The people that were in the session benefits from it, and you building a brand, doing that, where you're giving back, you care. And obviously that will lead to other things. So you can be very clear. Say, listen, and maybe you're not the person to help them with the business itself. And you would say, Francois, but why would I want to go and do it? Well, for all the reasons I just mentioned. So and then you get comfortable speaking in front of people. I think that is the big one. So then you can go to the next level and say, now I only talk to whatever. I mean, you can change that up, or you can get somebody to talk to the employees, and you might talk to the executives, however you want to go about that. But I think really going to your existing business clients and saying, you know what, I do this 10-minute talk about this. Would you be interested for me to come and speak to your employees? These are the benefits for you. These are the benefits for them. And, it's just your way of giving back, for example. It's a great way to start doing marketing. And then obviously from there, once you're comfortable, or even from the beginning, you can just go and approach businesses that you would like to work with and say, listen, we offer this, we want to do this. This is what we do. And you start forming a relationship there. So I think, volunteering to speak is definitely very, very powerful. And again, you can do this in person, or you can do this virtually, So I've done a few sessions during lockdown that was virtual. Yesterday, I did another hour and a half session on social media, and LinkedIn specifically, to help people get their profiles going and the things that they need to look out for. And that was a great session. So yeah, I mean, those are the kind of things that you could do. And some of them will be paid and some of them will not be paid. And that's actually up to you about how you want to do that. And obviously from there, you can go on to bigger and bigger things as you get more comfortable. And it's up to you whether that will work for you or not. Alrighty, so let me see quickly some of the comments. So Kobus said, it's been amazing to be a live attendee from day one now for 75 days. Yes, and I'm very grateful for that. Thank you very much, Kobus. And it has been my beacon to start the day positive and with great learnings. Hope to stay live until number 100. Great show. Thank you very much, Kobus. Appreciate it. Slanganani says, good morning, Chart. We tend to rely on automated birthday messages created by the CRM system we use, and I don't think that is enough. It is not personal, exactly. And then everybody gets the same message, and it's okay the first year. And the second year, they get the same message. And the third year, they get the same message. And then at some point, they're going to realize it wasn't you who sent the message. But anyway, so I agree. The CRM can let you know that it's somebody's birthday, but then you've got to have a process to really make it special, because it is the most important day in somebody's life. And I saw my daughter, it was her birthday yesterday, and, she got her balloons and her singing in the morning and all of that for the first time in 4 years live, because she was at university, or she was studying the previous 3 years. So it's the first time that she got to experience that again, and she was beyond herself. So those things are very, very important, definitely. Chart says, must every email sent to your clients focus on business only? No, absolutely not. So you can do anything, but the thing is, it must add value or it must entertain. So it's either educating or it's It's either educating or entertaining, or maybe a combination of both. That'll actually be great. So, but it doesn't only have to be business. So you can really see how you do that. Kobe says, emails stay in touch. Client emails becomes indirect marketing and very effective. Yes, and they can also forward some of those things to their friends, and you should encourage that. The keyword I get today is consistency. Yes, Kevin, you're 100% correct. I've been sending monthly newsletters to clients since 2008. Yes, I mean, I'm keen to hear sort of the results from that, Kevin. So send me a message on WhatsApp and let me know, what has been your experience by doing that, and we can share it in a future episode. So cool stuff. Guys, thank you very much. Yes, that is my story for the Saturday morning. Thank you very much. So I will see you on Tuesday at 8 a.m. for another show. I've managed to secure a fantastic guest. Not for Tuesday. We're busy setting it up. I'm really excited to announce who it is. It is somebody that's been very, very, I don't know what the right word is, but he's been central to what it is that we do. And he's somebody that's been commenting a lot on what we've been doing for years. And I'm really, really excited to have him on the show. Had a chat with him yesterday, and we really said he's excited to be on the show. So, yeah, I can't wait. I will announce that on Tuesday, and come and join us to see, what it is that there is. I see Razan added a comment here. She says, totally agree, Francois, website will always be the cornerstone. Interesting, however, we've seen with one client that 50% of their web traffic comes from their 40 advisor profile me cards. Wow, that's interesting stats. I did not know that, so that's very powerful. And that's the whole idea. You want to drive traffic. Everything you do, your social media, your profile me, your whatever it is you're doing, ultimately you're driving them to your website. If you've got a website, and that website needs, that's why, paying 1,500 Rand or 5,000 Rand for your website is not going to cut it. You've got to be able, or got to be willing to invest in it, or at least maybe start there and then go and say, well, what do we need to really make this powerful? Because otherwise it's just there. It needs to be a really good marketing and business tool, and it's got to build relationships. It's got to get people to take action. It's got to do a lot of stuff. So anyway, so that's powerful. Distribution is key on all marketing content and activities. Distribution is key. Yeah, you said it twice. I don't know if that's by mistake or that's intended like that, Rizan. But yes, absolutely. I think it drives home the point. Guys, thank you very much. I really, really appreciate it. I hope that you have a fantastic Saturday and a fantastic weekend with your family. I'm going to have a bride today and spend some time with my family. Got some things to get done as well, so sneak it in there. Have a good one. Thank you very much for everything. I love you. Cheers. Bye-bye.